I suspect that some of you may be asking, what is the rabbi thinking of all of this? The first thing I want to say, and I hope you believe me, is that I really do not stand in judgment about anyone else's belief or non-belief in God. People of faith do good things and bad things. Atheists do good things and bad things. God is not a prerequisite to being a good person or even being an active Jew deeply engaged in the life of Jewish community. So I have no agenda for you about what you believe in God. All are welcome here. My agenda is more like this. I want us to live lives of meaning and purpose. I want us to find courage and support in times of need. I want us to find the motivations and the means of improving ourselves and our world. I want the language of Jewish tradition to open up important conversations about what matters, rather than becoming a stumbling block. I want us to take time for beauty and love and to find joy in living. That's my agenda. Faith in God may or may not have a role in that for each of us. A memory. I was visiting my parents sometime in my mid-20s. My father and I were cleaning out the refrigerator together. As we sorted through the fruit, moldy, unmoldy, and gingerly opened and sniffed suspicious unknown packages, culling the rancid from the edible, our thoughts turned naturally to a discussion of God. Of course. You should know that my father and I are very close. I rely on his wisdom about people, relationships, communication, leadership. His advice is not only good because of his experience and intelligence, it's usually good advice in particular for me because my dad knows me better than almost anyone else in the world, and he and I are a lot alike. This is all to say that at that point, some 15 years ago or so, I was used to being the one coming to him with struggles, not the other way around, so perhaps that's why this memory sticks in my mind. This time amid the green fuzzy oranges and rank-smelling leftover tuna, he surprised me. He had a certain envy and admiration for me, he said, because of my faith in God. He could see it gave me strength and comfort, a sense of purpose and optimism. He too had some kind of belief, he said, but even though he could acknowledge powers beyond himself, and even though he believed in some kind of force in the world or source of creation, he didn't believe in the kind of God that was aware of the details of life or capable of a caring individual relationship with people. We talked for a long time, scrubbing, sorting, sniffing, and I found myself filled with a longing to give him something, some comfort, some mystical awakening. But even though I wanted to give him these things, and even though in a way he was asking me for them, there was an excruciating gap. You can't eat for someone, you can't sleep for someone else, and you can't give someone else your faith. That day we didn't figure out how to resolve his struggle, but the refrigerator did get very clean. Now, especially that I'm a rabbi, people sometimes come to me looking for the answers. Why do we suffer? What is God? What is the meaning of my life? But I know when it comes to these ultimate questions, even if I have some kind of answer for myself that day, I can't give it away so easily. It would be my answer, not necessarily anyone else's, and you have to find your own answer. Maybe one day I'll tell you the story of my own awakening, how I went from considering myself an atheist to living a life of a certain kind of faith. Maybe one day I'll share with you how my relationship with God helps me, or how I reconcile my spiritual experience with the depictions of God in the prayers and scripture, which are sometimes quite different. But even if my ideas were to resonate with you, in the end, I would not be able to give you anything you do not already have inside yourself. Still, I can tell you this much. You won't ever find an answer, or even the next question, if you don't look for it. And the search takes time and effort. It's part of why we're all here, stopping our regular routines and attending to the spiritual dimension of life together. My hope for us all this holiday season is that each of us in our own way, from wherever we stand, can come to a greater understanding of what it means to be alive in this moment, the joys and responsibilities that make us human and give us hope and purpose.